Joining us now to give us an update on treatment efforts on NTDs is Carrie Stover. She's the Director for Neglected Tropical Disease Control at the Sabin Vaccine Institute here in Washington, D.C. Ms. Stover, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, we saw that in the report that guinea worm disease is on the verge of being eradicated. Can you tell us about what remains to be done? There is more money that was recently allocated with the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. Now, what is the area that specifically needs reinforcement?
Well, for guinea worm, that's primarily under the purview of the Carter Center, but we do advocate for the control, elimination, or in the case of guinea worm, the eradication of these diseases. There's a call to action generally amongst the public where Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has provided an initial set of funds that will be matched for any additional money that the Carter Center raises, also working in close collaboration with the WHO. But they are down to the last 5,000 cases, as was mentioned in your show, and I think that we can safely say that if sufficient funds are available, the current partnership in place really can eradicate the second disease ever from the planet, which would be guinea worm.
Now, in the story also, Dr. Hotez said that 7 of the diseases will be addressed with this new funding. What are the priorities in terms of what should be done?
Sure. So those are primarily the diseases that we work on here at the Global Network for Neglected Tropical Diseases. Just recently participated in the UN meeting this past Monday where the global community came together and set a priority around these diseases. And what I mentioned there during that conference was, you know, in these difficult economic times, we need to look for solutions that we can afford to make an impact on the poorest populations of the world. And when you look at the 7 most common neglected tropical diseases, many of those listed in your show and by Dr. Hotez, such as the intestinal worms that are borne by over 400 million school children throughout the world, schistosomiasis, lymphatic filariasis, otherwise known as elephantiasis, river blindness, trachoma. These diseases, these 7 big NTDs, account for about 90% of the global disease burden. And for these big 7, we have tools available, primarily medications that prevent the suffering or the morbidity caused by these chronic infections. When you look at how these diseases are dispersed globally, they often sit on top of one another. So communities will be infected with 5 or more NTDs. In the least developed countries of the world, this is where we see most of these diseases co-endemic, or where an individual would be polyparasitized, be very wormy, have multiple infections. When you combine the treatments that we have available, it's a combination of up to 4 drugs, many of which are donated or available at very low cost. We know we can do this for as little as 50 cents per person per year. To treat this 50 cents per person per year.
And 50 cents indeed seems to be something that can be affordable. Ms. Stover, thank you so much for joining us today. That's all the time we have for today.
Okay, thank you.
And that's
it.
The issue on entities.
Thank you very much. It's good to see that there's hope.
Exactly.
And,
hope is definitely
and
there.
And the money is being made available.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Thank you very much,
Sure.
Lenore. Well, be sure to watch Lenore Mudu every Tuesday and Thursday for the latest health news in Africa, right here on In Focus. For more information on these stories, go to voanews.com/TV2Africa.